9 hours across icy roads, through blizzards and silence, with only one thought in his mind: to surprise her. A cake, a dinner, warm words. She thought he was stuck at work, but he was on his way to her door, shivering from the cold, yet carrying love in his heart. Until he heard her laughter from behind the door. Until he heard his own name, and how it was crushed in a conversation with her sister. A wish that he'd crash and die. A new man who was better in every way, humiliating comparisons, and all of it, on the day he just wanted to hug her. Something inside him snapped. He didn't yell. He didn't cause a scene. He simply walked in, set the cake on the counter, and walked out. But the real nightmare began after that, when silence became a weapon, when truth became a virus spreading through the web, when masks didn't fall from anger, but under the weight of facts. Sometimes, to destroy your enemy, you don't need to raise a hand. You just need to show others who they really are. Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. If you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends or family. It really helps my channel a lot. Please tell me in which city or country you watch this video. I value every one of your comments. So let's get started. I can't say what compelled me to believe that navigating a brutal 9-hour journey through a blizzard-stricken Midwest was a rational choice. Perhaps I was still grasping at that picture-perfect image of our life, the one I clung to when Amanda and I exchanged vows. 7 years had come and gone. People changed, I had changed, and Amanda had changed even more. The highway was a treacherous expanse of ice and misery, swirling snowflakes descending in thick, blinding sheets that swallowed the headlights of the cars ahead. But I kept going. Mile after mile, the urge to abandon the surprise and turn back gnawed at me, but I didn't yield. My stubborn determination locked me onto a single idea: showing up for my wife's birthday weekend, gift in hand, pretending we were still a couple like any other. She had left for her sister Melanie's place for a spa retreat with friends, and I had lied about being swamped with work. In truth, I had carefully orchestrated time off, booked a hotel, reserved a fancy dinner, and even picked up a cake from her favorite bakery. This birthday was going to be perfect, or so I told myself. After nearly 9 exhausting hours of battling snow and ice, I finally arrived on Melanie's street just after 4 in the afternoon. The snowplows hadn't even tried to clear the area, leaving thick, uneven mounds of slush that turned parking into a test of patience. I abandoned my car a block away, clutching the vibrant pink cake box against my chest, shielding it from the relentless snowfall. By the time I reached the front door, my jeans were soaked from the knees down. Happy birthday, sweetheart, I thought, trying to summon that warmth I once felt so easily. But just as I raised my hand to knock, familiar voices floated through the door, Amanda and Melanie's laughter spilling from the kitchen. He texted earlier, I heard Amanda say. Said he's stuck at work. More like stuck in that dumb game of his. Yeah, Melanie's dry tone responded. Nathan loves those headphones more than actual conversations. Their laughter wasn't the gentle teasing I remembered, but something sharper, almost mean. My name surfaced again, and I froze, my hand suspended just inches from the doorknob. Amanda's voice shifted, turning almost conspiratorial. I don't even care if he's bored. I wanted this weekend to myself. That man is driving me insane. If I have to hear his same 3 stories again, the camping trip, the fast food joke, I'll lose it. At least he's not here ruining your night, Melanie laughed. Roads are awful anyway. Amanda snorted. Oh, please, let him drive on ice. He chose to stay behind. If he tried to come out in this, I'd just roll my eyes and say, crash for all I care. The next words hit like a punch. Honestly, I hope he crashes. Could use the insurance. For a moment, I thought I'd misheard. Who wishes that on their spouse? But then Melanie's muffled laughter confirmed it. Or at least a few months of peace. He's always talking your ear off, right? More laughter followed, cruel and genuine. My stomach twisted. The cake's weight in my arms seemed crushing. Then Amanda's voice took on a sly, eager tone again. Speaking of which, I downloaded that new dating app the other day, just to look around. And Melanie, you won't believe who I matched with. Oh my God, Melanie gasped. Show me. There was a rustle, and Amanda's voice dropped to an excited whisper. Look at this. Massive. Way bigger than Nathan's, you know? And honestly, it felt better than anything I've had in years. Their laughter was like a serrated blade, leaving a burning ache in my chest. Amanda was cheating, and shamelessly gloating about it to her sister while they mocked me. My face flushed with a mix of shame and fury. Melanie's shocked laughter filled the space. Wow, girl. So, is it serious, or just a fling? For now, just for fun. But if Nathan ever found out? It would wreck him. Amanda's voice carried a dark, almost joyful note. I keep telling myself, if he tries to ruin my fun, maybe I should just dare him to drive out here in a snowstorm. You're awful. Melanie's voice was playful, but held a hint of admiration. Let's hope he stays away. You deserve this birthday. The conversation drifted across various topics, but a persistent ringing in my ears drowned out most of it. My wife was apparently involved with a tall, unfamiliar man, someone she described in excruciatingly flattering terms, especially when it came to his physical attributes. And while I was out risking everything to bring her a birthday cake, she was casually wishing for my car to crash, eager for the insurance payout. A chilling emptiness settled in my chest, a volatile mix of shock, betrayal, and simmering rage. My hands began to tremble. The doorknob felt cold against my palm. In that moment, a decision crystallized in my mind. I was going in. I wanted them to see me, to become fully aware of the cruelty they were so carelessly wielding. Pushing the door open, the rusty hinges groaned, loudly announcing my presence. Warmth from the house washed over me, and the kitchen loomed just beyond the hallway. Amanda and Melanie turned sharply, their faces marked by shock. That image is seared into my memory, Amanda's jaw dropping like a fish gasping for air. Nathan, she whispered, color draining from her cheeks. Melanie stood frozen, her phone still clutched in her hand, her expression one of absolute horror. I remained silent. Words were trapped in my throat, tangled in a storm of raw emotion. I stepped forward, gently setting the pink cake box on the counter with a deliberate calm, as though it were something sacred. Then I turned and walked away. Amanda's voice followed, calling my name. Melanie's too, some garbled plea. We can explain. I think that's what I heard. But I was already outside, the cold air biting at my skin, my heart pounding erratically. Stumbling back to my car, the numbness spread from my hands. My phone vibrated insistently in my pocket. A barrage of calls from Amanda. I tossed the phone onto the passenger seat, started the engine, and exhaled a shaky breath. Tears blurred my vision, hot and unrelenting, clashing with the frigid air. My thoughts raced wildly. She cheated, she mocked me, she wanted me dead. On instinct, I checked if my phone's voice recorder was still running. Earlier, I had used a voice memo app for last-minute gift ideas. To my shock, it was still recording, an entire hour of audio. Every humiliating word from that conversation was captured. I hadn't meant to record it, but now I had undeniable proof of her affair and her cruelty. I hesitated, but something in me refused to delete it. Evidence, perhaps, or just a twisted reminder that I wasn't losing my mind. That night, I paid $80 for a grimy motel room that smelled like stale smoke and regret. I turned my phone off and lay staring at the ceiling, forcing myself not to dwell on Amanda's sickening comments, the way she gushed about this other man, her vicious jokes about my life insurance. The next morning, I switched my phone back on, and a flood of missed calls and messages appeared. I ignored them all except for one text from Thomas, my best friend. Me. Hey, something happened with Amanda. Can I crash at your place for a bit? Thomas. Dude, of course. Doors unlocked. Beers in the fridge. So I drove another 9 hours through the same storm she had wished would claim my life. At home, I gathered clothes, documents, everything I couldn't leave behind. Her car was absent, likely still parked at Melanie's. Good. I placed my wedding ring on the dresser. Not because I was certain it was over, but because the idea of wearing it made me nauseous. Then I left, heading for Thomas's. That was 3 days ago. Since then, Amanda has flooded me with messages, voicemails swinging from sobbing pleas to accusations. It was a joke, she insisted. You misunderstood. Not once did she apologize. I changed every password, banking, email, social media. Froze our joint cards, moved half the savings to a separate account, and told my boss I'd be working remotely. If she wanted to talk, she could speak to a lawyer. Beneath the shock, a strange clarity settled in. I saw it all for what it was. Amanda's affair wasn't just a betrayal, it was a game to her. On the second night at Thomas's, we sat on his couch, and I played part of the recording, the section about the insurance. His face went pale. "Jesus, Nathan," he whispered. That's sick." And he didn't even know the worst of it. The part where she boasted about the other man's size, how much better it was than anything she'd known with me. Perhaps it was my wounded pride that kept me from sharing the full truth. By the fourth day, my uncertainty had hardened into determination. I decided to confront her about the betrayal, but I rejected the idea of doing it face to face. Instead, I resolved to put it in writing, ensuring there would be a record of our exchange. I meticulously drafted a message, quoting the exact words I had heard in the audio. "I know about the dating app. I'm aware you bragged about being with someone else, someone you described as exceptionally endowed, claiming he was better than me. Don't even try to deny it." But then, I hesitated. I erased the message. I chose to keep my discovery a secret, letting her wonder just how much I knew. If she decided to lie, that would be her choice. The naive illusions I once held about our relationship were shattered, replaced by a colder, more calculating version of myself. Unable to let go, I found myself obsessively checking the phone logs. I'm not proud of it, but I still had access to her iCloud password from years ago. I had promised myself I wouldn't stoop to spying, but I remembered her boasting about a recording, an intimate video she'd saved. And so, late one night while Thomas slept, I crossed the line. I logged into her iCloud account on my laptop, steeling myself for what I might find. There it was, a short video, dimly lit, capturing a moment I wasn't meant to see. Her face wasn't fully visible, but the outline of a tall, muscular man with dark skin stood next to the bed. She giggled, angling the camera downward to highlight his size. No faces, just shadows, but her voice was unmistakable. "Look at that. Puts Nathan to shame. This is wild." Her words ended in a breathless laugh. My face flushed, my chest tightened. A storm of nausea, heartbreak, and horrified fascination washed over me. This was my wife, the woman who once whispered love to me, now celebrating her betrayal. I saved the clip onto a flash drive. Driven by a volatile mix of anger and helplessness, I made a reckless choice. I didn't share the entire video, just a brief, incriminating segment. On Reddit, in a thread dedicated to relationship revenge, I posted it anonymously. Caught my wife cheating. She even bragged about it. Thoughts? No names, no recognizable faces, but her voice was a dead giveaway to anyone who knew her. I included the part where she compared me to him, boasting about his superiority. I expected little, maybe a few comments. But by morning, my inbox was in chaos. Messages flooded in. Some recognized her voice, old friends, acquaintances from online circles. "Is that Amanda?" one asked. "Holy hell." Another condemned me. "You can't just share someone's private moments like that." But others egged me on, saying I had exposed the truth. The post became a spectacle, a digital coliseum of strangers with opinions. My phone didn't stop buzzing. By noon, Amanda's father was calling repeatedly. At first, I ignored him, but his voicemail was impossible to ignore. Nathan, I saw the post. I don't know what's going on, but you need to take it down. This is humiliating my daughter. Call me back. I laughed bitterly. Humiliating his daughter? She had humiliated me first, wishing for my death to claim insurance money, mocking me with another man's size. But sure, I was the villain. When he called again, I answered, barely containing my anger. Hello? Nathan, he shouted. What are you doing? That's my daughter. I raised her better. I don't care who you raised, I cut him off. Your daughter wished I was dead for an insurance payout. She cheated. She lost my respect long before this. There was a stunned silence. He wasn't used to hearing me like this. I'd always been the polite, compliant son-in-law. But that person was gone. Finally, he sputtered, You have no proof. Take it down or you'll what? I shot back. Call the police? Go ahead. There are no identifying details. It could be anyone posting. Maybe it was the guy she was bragging about. I ended the call, my heart racing. I wasn't proud of the bitterness in my voice, but beneath the shame, there was a sharp, cold satisfaction. I had finally reached a breaking point with my efforts to be the nice guy. Throughout it all, I dismissed every plea from Amanda, who flooded my inbox with messages on every platform imaginable, even resorting to sending an email to my work address. Her narrative painted herself as the victim, insisting it was a drunken mistake, that the dating app was just a bit of fun, and that her demeaning comments about my small package were merely an attempt to impress Melanie. Yet, at no point did she offer a sincere apology. The words, I'm sorry for what I did, or I regret humiliating you, never crossed her lips. Instead, the tone of her messages shifted dramatically, from self-defense to outright fury. One message stood out. I know you posted that video. It has to be you. She demanded to know how I could humiliate her like that, accusing me of making her the focus of her friends' questions. Her father threatened legal action, and she was seething. Despite admitting to saying hurtful things, she condemned me for sharing the video, claiming I had crossed a line. To her, I was the villain. I stared at the screen, a bitter taste in my mouth. No right? She believed she had the right to hurl insults, yet I had no right to expose her behavior? I remained silent, choosing not to respond. That week, I scheduled a meeting with Milton, a financial advisor, hoping to make sense of the tangled mess of our finances. The situation was worse than I'd imagined. Amanda's debts were staggering, credit cards maxed out, inexplicable ATM withdrawals, and even a store card I had never seen. Whether she was funneling money to her new lover or indulging a shopping addiction was anyone's guess. As Milton scanned the bank statements, his voice was gentle. Are you considering divorce? I don't know, I admitted, feeling lost. But the house is in both our names. I need a plan. Milton's expression was one of sympathy. At the very least, we should freeze any new debt in your name. It's clear she can't be trusted. I nodded. Let's do it. By the second week, I had effectively shut Amanda out of my life. But then Melanie cornered me in the grocery store. I was standing by the frozen pizzas, lost in thought, when she approached. Nathan, she murmured, her voice tentative. I turned to see her clutching a shopping basket, anxiety clear in her eyes. Amanda's a mess, she began. She's at home, falling apart. You can't just shut her out, she pleaded. She told me about the video and your bank issues. It was all a misunderstanding. Sure, she said some awful things, but she didn't mean them. My patience snapped. Didn't mean them? She said I had a small dick, bragged about finding someone better on a dating app, and even joked about collecting insurance if I crashed. That's not a misunderstanding, Melanie. That's betrayal. Melanie's face reddened. I just think you should talk to her. This is spiraling. People are talking. Her father already called, I growled. He can keep barking. And if she's upset about the video, she earned it. I grabbed a pizza and turned to leave, ignoring Melanie's desperate, wait! I was done. The following week, matters escalated. I changed the locks on the house, not out of spite, but to protect my property. While I was working remotely from Thomas's dining table, the doorbell rang. Thomas answered, but moments later he reappeared, pale. "She's here," he whispered, "crying and demanding to talk to you." I felt a twist in my gut. I was exhausted, tired of hiding in my own life. Taking a deep breath, I walked into the hallway. Amanda stood there, disheveled, mascara smeared, eyes red from crying. "Nathan," she sobbed, "why won't you talk to me? You froze everything, changed the locks. This is my house too. You can't just—" "I can, and I did," I interrupted, crossing my arms. "I pay half the mortgage. I have every right to protect it, from you and whoever your new boyfriend is. Or is it boyfriends? I've lost track." Her face twisted between rage and heartbreak. "That's not fair, you bastard. We're married. You can't keep me locked out." "I was lonely. I made a stupid mistake. I've told you 100 times it was a joke gone wrong." "A joke?" I scoffed, bitterness lacing my voice. "No, you're not lying your way out of this. I heard every word." A cold smile tugged at my lips. "Remember that little confession of yours to Melanie? Or did you forget bragging about that impressive Johnson of yours?" Her face went pale, shock freezing her expression. You spied on me? Are you serious?" she stammered, anger flaring in her eyes. "Surprised? I'd say it's a fair response to finding out you downloaded a dating app while we were still married." Her reaction was immediate, a furious scream, and she lunged forward, her palms striking against my chest. I staggered back a step, Thomas moving reflexively to intervene, but I signaled him to stay back. Her finger jabbed toward my face. "You'll regret posting that video. My father's already talking to his lawyers." "That was private." I met her gaze, unflinching. "I have no regrets. Go ahead, drag me to court. Let's see how your pristine father handles it when the rest of your secrets come out. And how do you think your tall new friend will react when everything's out in the open?" Her lips quivered. "Don't you dare bring him into this. It was a mistake. Just one time. Maybe you shouldn't have bragged to your sister about how he's so much better in bed," I fired back, my voice cold. "You humiliated me in front of your entire family, wished I'd die for the insurance money, and now you want to talk about privacy?" Her face twisted with fury. "I never meant that. You're twisting everything. I was venting. I was drunk. Nathan, you never even noticed me, always off in your own little world." "Unbelievable," I muttered. "And you didn't seem drunk in that video. Looked like you were having the time of your life with your new fling." She launched herself at me again, fists clenched, tears streaming down her cheeks. "This is my house too. You can't just shut me out of my life." I caught her wrists, my grip firm but not cruel. My voice turned to ice. "I know about your friend from the app. I know about the texts, the secret videos. I know what you told Melanie, how it was amazing. And you think I'd ever let you back in after all that?" A choked sob escaped her. "You bastard. I was just lonely. Yes, I said things I shouldn't have. But you posting that clip? Everyone thinks I'm some whore. Do you even understand how humiliating that is?" "Humiliation? Try having your wife mock you to her sister," I shot back, barely keeping my voice steady. "Now get out of Thomas's house before I call the cops." Her glare was a storm of heartbreak and rage, but finally, she spun on her heel, marching out, her furious screams echoing down the driveway. I listened to the crunch of slush beneath her tires as she sped away, and then silence. Thomas stepped up beside me, releasing a slow breath. Man, that was brutal. I stared at the door, my hands still trembling. I had never spoken to her like that before. Part of me was horrified by how easily the words had come. Another part felt a dark, bitter satisfaction. She started this war. I was just making sure I finished it. That night, As I scrolled through the barrage of anonymous messages online, one comment caught my eye and froze my blood. Someone claiming to know her circle had posted, "I recognize that voice in the cheating clip. Everyone's freaking out, but no one knows who leaked it. Some even think it was the new boyfriend, out of jealousy." A sharp, humorless laugh escaped me. They think it was the tall, dark stranger? Perfect. Let them hunt their own shadows. The comment section was a frenzy. Some condemning me for sharing private footage, others praising me for exposing a cheater. I couldn't stop reading. Angry texts flooded in too, no doubt from her friends. I ignored them all. If they wanted a villain, I'd play the part. At least then I'd control the narrative. By the third week, I was sitting across from Caleb, a divorce lawyer recommended by a coworker. Silver-haired, sharp-eyed, his suit practically radiated professionalism. "So, is there a prenuptial agreement in place?" he asked, scanning the documents I'd brought. "No prenup," I admitted. "We married young. Didn't think we needed one." Caleb gave a measured nod. "That complicates things. However, if you can establish infidelity or financial misconduct, you may still secure a favorable outcome. Be aware, though, posting that video could be viewed as retaliation or harassment." Guilt twisted uncomfortably in my chest. "I posted it anonymously. She can't prove it was me." Caleb's gaze sharpened. Suspicion is not the same as evidence. From a legal standpoint, the situation was complicated, a fog of uncertainty that demanded careful navigation. Yet even in that gray area, I couldn't ignore Caleb's advice. Caution was essential. I couldn't afford to give her any more power over me. As I leaned back in the chair, a wave of self-reproach washed over me. How had I become this person? A man considering the public release of a private video to shame his own wife on Reddit. But then her mocking words echoed in my mind. "It's so much bigger than Nathan's." The absurdity of the moment hit me like a slap. Shame gave way to a cold, determined anger. I steadied myself and met Caleb's gaze. "We proceed," I stated firmly. "I want to sever any financial ties with her. Let her manage her own debts," I declared. Caleb nodded in agreement. "We can initiate a legal separation. This way, you're not responsible for any new debts she accumulates. Later, you can choose to formalize the divorce." I signed the necessary paperwork, and we planned to serve her the separation documents by the end of the month. In the meantime, our social circles fractured. Messages flooded in, some expressing sympathy and condemning her rumored plan to see me dead for insurance money, while others accused me of humiliating her. There was no neutral ground. Our friends took sides as if gearing up for battle. Yet, amidst the chaos, a message arrived from one of her friends, Jill, offering an unexpected sense of validation. "Nathan, I know it's not my place, but I'm sorry. Amanda has always had a cruel streak." Her words were a strange comfort, proof that someone else saw the person I'd been dealing with. For years, I'd brushed off Amanda's cruel remarks as her dark sense of humor. Now I saw them for what they were. 4 weeks after that disastrous night, rumors began to spread. Amanda was reportedly falling apart, consumed by paranoia, constantly checking her phone in fear that the tall guy she had been with might release more footage. Her father branded me a venomous snake, but there was no proof linking me to the leak. The house we once shared became a ghost of its former self. Amanda tried to return, only to find the locks changed. She shattered a window to get inside and left me a tearful voicemail accusing me of destroying her life. A part of me felt satisfaction, but I quickly quelled it, reminding myself of who she had been, or at least who I had believed she was. By the 5th week, the narrative shifted. Rumors painted Amanda in a new light, a woman attempting to rebuild herself. Therapy, accountability meetings, even apologizing to those she'd wronged. Melanie texted me, insisting, "Nathan, she's changing. She's genuinely trying." I scoffed. Another phase, another obsession. But doubt lingered. Was she truly changing, or just rewriting her own story to escape blame? Regardless, I focused on the legal separation. I was ready to turn the page no matter how she tried to rewrite hers. But in week 6, a simple visit to the house for a few tools became an unexpected encounter. Amanda was there, disheveled in a hoodie and sweatpants, her face marked by sleepless nights. Our eyes met through the kitchen window, and she hesitantly opened the door. Bracing myself, I expected an argument. Instead, she stepped aside. "Take whatever you need," she whispered, her voice cracking slightly. "I'll stay out of your way." I nodded, moving past her. As I searched the garage, she lingered by the door, twisting her fingers anxiously. Finally, she spoke, her voice strained but sincere. "Nathan, I know you hate me. I get it. But I need to apologize for everything. The jokes, the cheating, the horrible insurance comment. I was cruel." I didn't look at her. "Saying sorry doesn't change what you did." Her breath caught. "I know, but I'm trying to be better. If you want proof, I have therapy logs, but that's not the point. I just needed you to hear this." I turned, really seeing her for the first time in weeks. Her once polished image was gone. She looked thin, exhausted, raw. And for a fleeting moment, I saw the woman I had once loved, vulnerable, desperate to make amends. But then the memory of her mocking laughter returned, and with it, a wall of cold resolve. "You've said your piece," I replied, turning away. "I'm leaving." "Nathan, please." I didn't press further. I turned and walked away, accepting that I had changed. Whether or not she could forgive me was beyond my control. I left the garage without another word, heading home. That night, I found the flash drive, the one with the video. As I played it again, her laughter filled the room, her voice light but laced with cruelty, openly mocking me. My jaw tightened. Why was I doing this to myself again? Maybe I needed the reminder, a stark, undeniable truth about who she really was. No mask of regret could sway me now. A bitter anger rose within me, heavy and suffocating. Her sudden remorse? Just another act, triggered by the shame of her friends witnessing the video. Her worry wasn't about me, it was about her image. The righteous anger I had been nursing for weeks felt even more oppressive now. Reconciliation was no longer an option. A few days later, an unexpected message arrived from Jill, an old friend of Amanda's who had once seemed sympathetic. She sent a screenshot of a group chat. In it, Amanda hinted that I might have been the one who leaked the video, though she admitted she had no proof. "He probably did it, but I can't entirely blame him. I pushed him to it. If it was him, I'm just dealing with the consequences," she wrote. It was a strange half-admission, more mature than the outburst she had shown before. I didn't give Jill much of a reaction. "Nice story," I replied, and left it at that. Week 8 came around, and I got another call. This time, it was her father. Curiosity got the better of me, so I answered. "I'm not here to argue," he began, his voice tired. "But I thought you should know, Amanda's mother hasn't been sleeping over this, and we've decided against pursuing legal action. She's an adult now. Her struggles are hers to manage, and I suppose I owe you an apology." "An apology?" I repeated, almost dropping the phone. "You were right about one thing. She made a terrible mistake. I still disagree with the video being leaked, but I've come to understand just how poorly she treated you. Whether she's changed or not, I can't say, but she is making an effort." "If she wants to talk," I replied, weariness settling in, "she can go through my lawyer. I have a meeting next week to finalize the divorce." A pause, then a sigh. "I understand. I hoped. Never mind. Good luck, Nathan." I ended the call. No sense of triumph washed over me, just a hollow ache. By week 9, the divorce papers were ready. I had them sent to her home, not her workplace. I wasn't that cruel. Barely an hour later, my phone buzzed with her number. I didn't pick up, but she left a voicemail. "Nathan, I got the papers. If this is what you want, I won't fight it. I'll sign. But, can we talk?" Just one more time. We owe each other that much honesty. After some hesitation, I agreed. We set a time to meet at the house. I arrived around noon. She opened the door with a hardened look. No smile, no warmth. "Feeling proud of yourself?" she snapped. "You recorded yourself boasting about cheating," I responded, stepping inside. The house felt empty. Boxes stacked up, the big TV gone. Something felt off. "You humiliated me," she shot back. "Everyone saw it. My parents, my friends, my colleagues. My life is in ruins. I can't even go online without harassment." "Now you know how it feels," I replied evenly. Her laugh was sharp, bitter. "You see yourself as the victim? You walked out, drained the accounts, and now you're the saint?" "You told your sister you'd profit from my death," I countered. "It was a joke. You're so dramatic," she spat. "No, Amanda. You're just not used to facing consequences." She stepped closer, her eyes blazing. "So now you think you're better than me?" "No. I'm just done pretending you're a good person." Her expression twisted, and without warning, she grabbed a mug from the counter, hurling it at me. It missed, shattering on the floor. "Get out," I warned, reaching for my phone. She lunged, clawing at my arm. "Touch me again," I muttered, backing away, "and I'll call the police." Her voice wavered. "You'd actually call them on me?" "Yes," I said, pressing the dial without a second thought. "I would like to report an incident of assault. My wife attempted to hit me with a mug. Yes, I am unharmed. She is still inside the house." Her expression twisted with emotion as she stepped back, her eyes wide and filled with tears, though traces of anger lingered in her gaze. The police arrived within 15 minutes. I met them at the door. She tried to downplay the situation as just an argument between spouses, but the fragments of the broken mug scattered on the floor and the fresh scratch on my arm painted a different picture. The officers approached her carefully, securing her wrists in handcuffs and guiding her out of the house. As they led her away, she glanced back at me, her eyes swollen and red from crying. "You've destroyed me," she whispered. "No," I responded evenly. "That was your doing." She was fined and released the next day, but shortly afterward, a restraining order was issued. I filed for divorce that same week. No more calls, no more arguments, just quiet. Finally, a sense of peace. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you like this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you.